Well, howdy do, buckaroos. How the heck are you? We are live. Hey, so this is a special snow day and happy hour edition at the Beer Whisperer Pub. I'm starting off with the Schlafly Irish Style Extra Stout, 8%, 45 IBUs. And being happy hour, sometimes you have a beer and a little whiskey. Being a happy hour guy, I am having some mixing with my Schlafly Stout. I've got the Bushmills 10 single malt, 10-year-old single malt. I've got a nice 2-ounce pour in my Rocktown Glencairn glass. So, and joining me for this session at the bar is Red Rooster. Red, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well, Tom. I've got the day off. If anybody had tuned in a little earlier, you and I had done a session, and I went out to my local tap room of one of my local breweries and went and had a session of my own, so to speak, and then got a growler fill and came back. It's appropriate that you mentioned snow day because the Mid Atlantic is supposed to get buried with snow. We're expecting anywhere from 2 to 4 feet if the models are correct. So I went and stocked up on all the essentials. If we get snowed in and we got cabin fever, I've got plenty of beer.
There you go. Well, I'm hoping you got plenty of bread, milk, eggs, and soda pop for the rest of the family, too.
Oh yeah, of course. I did all that early in the morning. I made sure we had plenty of stuff. So even if the power goes out, we'll be fine for a couple days. So
So what did you bring to drink with us this session?
well, like I just said, I went to the Brew Pub Brewery. I've got a couple now that's pretty close to me, and this one is called Old Busthead Brewing Company, and they are in Warrenton, Virginia, and they're a local of local for me. They're pretty close, and they're a very, very good brewery. They do a number of beer styles, mostly ales, and they do them pretty well. The head brewer used to be the head brewer at a Beta Brewing Company in Beta Springs, Louisiana, which is
Oh, really?
of course, a very long established brewery that's been around since 1986. So he brewed at a beta for a while. So this guy really knows what he's doing with, big production brewery, on a pretty big, craft microbrew scale anyway. So he's doing a number of different beer styles. He's doing them very well. Some people are, kind of knocking him that he's not going like all crazy with the whole craze with all these different beers that we were talking about earlier with like lots and lots of adjuncts. That being said, they are doing more of that, but I don't think it's because of pressure, but it's just because it's the thing. And when I was at the Brew Pub brewery today, the tap room really, they have a Russian Imperial Stout called Gold Cup, and it's outstanding in its own right. But they did some variants on the Gold Cup, and I tried the four variants today. They had a chocolate cherry. They had a coconut.
Oh.
They had a Sumatra coffee, so it was made with coffee,
Mhm.
and a chili chocolate variant of the Gold Cup. So I had four different variants of their Russian Imperial Stout with those adjuncts that I just mentioned, and they were all very very tasty. Each one had their own quality, and that was great. So I'm happy that I got to try them, and I got them in a flight. So they were only 4-ounce samples, so I didn't get totally floored by drinking them. And then I got a growler to go of what I'm sampling right now, and this is what I'm drinking. It is the Mocha Macchiato Stout. So this
Oh,
is
nice.
another stout that's coffee and chocolate, and it's like drinking a macchiato. If you've ever had a macchiato, it's replicating a macchiato. I'm getting lots of mocha, lots of coffee, lots of chocolate. The nose is unbelievable with the mocha smell of coffee and chocolate. I noted with when I was at the tap room when I was drinking the Sumatra coffee stout, the coffee aromas and flavors were just like out of control. So they really know how to use coffee in the coffee stouts that they do. And I'm not sure if they put cocoa nibs in this or it's cocoa or something, but I'm getting a lot of chocolate and not just chocolate malt, and it's just working really, really well with the malts that they're using. Of course, they've got some lot big hops in this too, but you're really not tasting the hops because the hops are really just to keep things in check, and so it doesn't become so over the top cloying. There's some soothing, peppery alcohol in the finish. This is just really, really well done. So this one isn't so strong. This one is about, I want to say 5.5, maybe 6% alcohol by volume, but it's like you're drinking a nice coffee. It's delicious.
So are you getting like malted chocolate notes on there?
Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's like kind of like a malted milk bowl, if you want to say,
Yeah,
but
okay.
with
That's what I was wondering. Yeah.
some roasty coffee notes on top of that. If that's the thing today, too, Tom, is like we talked about this a little bit before too. You've got a lot of new people to the beer world, to the craft beer world, and you know this lexicon came about probably 20, 25, 30 years ago. They started to come up with these flavor descriptors that were normally associated with wine. So they did this in the beer world, and Jackson was a big proponent of it, and he came up with this beer lexicon to kind of get people who don't understand what beer is and really don't understand what malt should smell and taste like, or what hops should smell and taste like, or fermentation should smell and taste like, or yeast should smell and taste like. He came up with this lexicon and he started putting all these, descriptors in to kind of give people an idea of what they're smelling and tasting. So you have a lot of these descriptors now where people are saying all these different things. They're not necessarily in a beer, but kind of, replicate, simulate what you're smelling and tasting in a beer. So if that makes any sense to some people, and that's why they do that, to give the person that's really not uh, really into beer some kind of reference point that they can say, oh, okay, all right, that's what that smells like. That's what that tastes like. Well, it
Mhm.
tastes similar to this and this and this. So that's what's happening a lot with the beer lexicon. People are getting these aromas and flavors, and the descriptors are trying to help them understand what they're drinking.
Yeah, I agree. And, at the risk of repeating myself, I know I've talked about this before, is I think a lot of it's perception. I mean, you can only taste what you know, right? So, I mean, if you taste something and you're not sure what that flavor is, your mind is going to take it to a place that you know. So you hear people talk about certain things, and it's not necessarily that they're wrong, but they may not understand that exact flavor. They're interpreting it as something because that's what they know, and it's just perception.
And exactly, and that's the point of calling this beer Mocha Macchiato. People are, going to say, okay, well, I know what a Mocha Macchiato is supposed to taste like. So
Yeah.
when they drink this and they'll say, oh, wow, this really tastes like a Mocha Macchiato. Now, if you want to analyze beer and you want to judge beer, you can pick it apart and say, okay, well, they're using these malts and these malts, and they're using this yeast strain, and they're using this hops to make this, and that happen. But most people don't do that. They don't analyze beer. They don't pick it apart. They just want to drink it and enjoy it. So if you tell someone I just brewed malted milk bowl stout, they get that. They understand. Okay, this stout is going to taste something like a
A
malted milk
malted
bowl.
milk ball. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's part of the beer lexicon. That's part of what brewers are doing now to make people who not necessarily really into beer kind of understand flavors and aromas and character that they can associate with. I mean, you've said this yourself, and I saw it on a can the other day um, of a double block called Troganator, and it said caramel and stone fruit is part of the flavor profile. Now, I know why they're doing that. They're doing that to get people who are looking at the can to say, well, what is this beer? Let me see what this is. and kind of get a point of reference. It's like, oh, okay, well, I know what some stone fruits taste like. I know what caramel tastes like. Maybe I'll like this. Maybe I'll buy this. This is a
Yeah.
marketing ploy. This is marketing. It isn't really necessarily what the beer really is all about or what the beer really tastes like. And if you can't see that, if you're someone who reviews beers, then you're a fucking idiot in plain English.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly don't disagree. But yeah, I mean, you do hear those descriptors a lot. You hear a lot of caramel in places where there maybe shouldn't be caramel. But again, I don't want to call somebody wrong. I just think it's just perception. I think this is what you perceive it to be because these are the flavors you know. And I've been honest about this before. Citra hops, mosaic hops will give flavors, tropical fruit flavors, mango, papaya, passion fruit. Now, I'm not a big eater of these fruits. I don't necessarily know exactly what they taste like. But when I taste that beer, I know what they're going for, so I interpret that as that's what they're trying to hit. When I taste those flavors that I don't quite understand what they are, okay, that's the mango and passion fruit they're talking about. But I think I'm one of the few that's honest about not knowing that.
Well, I mean, that's the thing today. I mean, everybody who's a quote unquote beer reviewer, they're using the lexicon and the purple prose to the hilt. I mean, it seems like the more flowery the descriptors are, the more these people seem to think they know about beer. But sometimes, it really isn't that complicated. It tastes like malt, it tastes like hops, and that's it. You're drinking beer. You can only be so pretentious with beer. It comes to a point where if you're ultra pretentious about beer, I mean, you're just basically, I don't know, jerking off. I don't know what it is, but no. I mean, you can only be so pretentious.
Well,
Beer,
yeah, you've
beer.
heard me say this before, Red. I know I've said it in videos. I've said it in private conversations. I said it to anybody that'll listen to me. I wish we would leave the pretension to the guys. Now, here's the thing. I think craft beer is every bit as complex as a fine wine. There are some craft beers that may be even more, arguably, than a fine wine. But we don't have to be pretentious about it. I would like to keep beer, even craft beer, even better craft beer, still a working class beverage. And somebody just joined us. Who's joining us here? Mike. Hey, Mike. Hey, he's gone. Mike, can you hear us? He's talking, but I can't hear him.
Turn on your microphone, Mike.
See him there, but I can't hear him there.
Yeah, we can see your mic, but we can't hear you.
Trying to.
Who's Mike, Tom? I've never heard of Mike. Do you know who this guy is?
He's actually a beer friend of mine. He watches a lot of my YouTube videos, but for some reason he's not coming up here.
Well, I'll tell you what. While he's trying to figure that out, tell us who Mike is.
Well, I'm guessing, actually, without seeing a last name here, I'm guessing it's Mike Farley, who watches a lot of my videos. He does some great stuff himself. For some reason, I can't hear a damn word he's saying, though. I'm trying to.
Now, when Mike first came up, I saw the ECU Pirates banner, and I like that because that's East Carolina.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, all right. I didn't see that, so then I know that would be Mike Farley.
And he's in eastern North Carolina, and there's some really good breweries out that way. That's where Farmville is not far from Greenville, and that's where the Duck Rabbit is from. So I'm interested in hearing what
Mike, can you hear us now? Well, I got him unmuted. He must be muted on his end, so I can't hear a thing he's saying. Mike, can you hear us at all, bud? I'm trying to figure out how to get a message to you. I'm technically challenged, Mike. Give me a break. Send him a message here. See if he gets that. I mean, I can see him, but I can't hear him. Mike, can you hear us at all, bud?
Yeah, the problem is we can't hear you.
You're muted. You're muted on your end. I've checked my mics and you're on, so somehow you're muted on your end. Check it again. No, he's muted again. He keeps getting muted.
There it goes. It's off.
All right, Mike, can you hear? Yeah.
Does he have a microphone?
Hey, he's not muted. I just can't figure out why we can't come through here. Hey, Mike, are you there, buddy? Let me get back to fuck, I don't know how to get back to where I was now. Alrighty, so
All right, let's have Mike try to sort that out, and we'll continue.
all right, so keep talking, Red. What were we talking about?
I don't remember. Well, what I just said that Mike is from Eastern Carolina, and I would have liked to talk to him about the Duck Rabbit because that is one of my all-time favorite breweries, and I actually visited the Duck Rabbit about a year or two back, and I was very impressed. I've been drinking their beers since they've been around, and I think they're a great brewery. So they're ones that started out that they brewed nothing but dark beers, and they specialized in dark beers, and it was stouts and brown ales and Baltic porter and that kind of stuff. So we'd really like to get Mike's take on that. So when Mike gets in there, we'll talk to Mike. But what are we talking about, Tom? Stout. We were talking about the stout that I'm drinking. Again, was simulating a Mocha Macchiato, and Old Busted has done a very good job of doing that. So this one definitely has coffee in it. It's probably brewed with cocoa nibs or cocoa powder or something, because I'm definitely getting more than just malts. I'm getting the use of adjuncts again in a good way, not corn or rice, not trying to cheapen or lighten this beer, but actually add more to something that's great to begin with. So great beer.
Mike, can you hear any of that conversation? All right. Can we hear you yet? I guess not. I thought I heard you for a second there, and then nothing. Can't figure out what's going on. But anyway, hey, I'm going to keep talking, Mike. If your mic gets working, I've checked at my end, and I don't have you muted on my end, so I don't know why you're not coming on. Anyway, for me, I'm having. You see, this is a pub conversation. Now, we wouldn't typically be having technical difficulties, but sometimes there are problems that arise at a pub that distract the conversation. That's kind of what we got here. So I'm having the Schlafly. This is their big Irish stout they do. You know, I'm finding like craft beer has become like clothes, right? It comes out a season early now. Typically, this used to not come out until about March, just before St. Patrick's Day, and now it's out, well, right now, a couple months early. Are you finding the same thing, Red?
Yeah, they seem to be
like clothes now.
They seem to be releasing beers earlier and earlier, and I think there's reasons for that. I mean, they've got production schedules that they have to keep. I think it's safer for them to brew it earlier and release it earlier. I don't necessarily agree with that, and some breweries don't either. I mean, I know for instance, Rogue refuses to release their pumpkin ale early. They don't put their pumpkin ale out until I think October or November, so they won't release it early. So some breweries are not going to do that. Other ones do because they've got so many beers that they brew that they have to free up space for their other beers. So I think it's easier for them to knock a lot of these ones out early. I know Schlafly, the one that you're talking about, their pumpkin ale takes up a huge portion of their production, and they've got to dedicate a lot of time, effort, and space and storage to that. So they want to get it over and done with and knock it out. I think when did they start brewing that? They start brewing it in June, right? June or July, and then they're releasing it in August.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it came out in August this year. And I
Well,
think
then
it's
they're
mostly
probably
with all
brewing
their
it even.
seasonals. I mean, their Christmas ale came out in like October, I think, and now they got their Irish Stout coming out in January. But
Yeah, so who
that's
knows?
kind of the nature of the beast now, isn't it?
Yeah, so who knows when they actually start brewing the beer? And you got to let this beer ferment for a while. So I think a lot of it has to do with just the schedules and trying to keep up with demand. The demand for Schlafly Pumpkin was like outrageous at some points a couple of years back. I
Yeah,
mean, you could not find that beer. That beer was like so hot. I mean, I remember when it first came out, I had no problem getting it. I could walk into a store and get a case of it, no problem. Come back a couple weeks later, and there was more. There was one point, I remember this too, because I went to one of my local Total Wines. They got something like, I don't know, 50 cases or 100 cases, and it was gone in like 8 hours. People came in, and that was it. It was done.
yeah, and people buy it by the truckload out here. I mean, I'm in Springfield, Missouri. I'm not far, a couple 3 hours from St. Louis. So yeah, they buy it by the truckload out here. It's a real popular beer. We lost Mike. He was having some technical issues. Hopefully, he'll come back.
Yeah.
Mike's a good guy. I don't know him personally. We've talked about beer on several occasions. He's responded to a lot of my videos. So it was nice to see him. I just randomly sent him an invite, hoping he could find a way in. For some reason, we're having some technical difficulties, but we'll move on.
Yeah, I think it's the way you set your whole Google Hangout account up, and you got to take, when you first set it up, I think you have to make sure you have the mic set up. Like let this application have access to your microphone and access to your camera.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's steps involved, and if you don't, you miss one of them steps, it makes it difficult. So,
Well,
but
I
this
checked
is
to make sure it wasn't on my end, but he wasn't muted here, so and he could hear us. We just couldn't hear him.
well, here he comes again.
Hey, Mike, are you back? Still can't hear him. Oh, now he's muted somehow. Let me
Okay,
unmute.
it's all good on my end.
Hey, now
Oh,
we can hear you, buddy. Hey,
How's it
Mike,
going?
how the heck are you, man?
Damn near perfect. It's these damn computers.
So, Mike, this is the first time you've joined us, so let me give you the rundown. I basically set up these live chats as kind of a virtual pub. We don't
Right.
really have a beer theme or a topic theme. We're just kind of winging it, as if we all just met at a pub. So tell me what you're drinking, Mike.
Well, I haven't started yet. I've just got some dinky macros down here. I got some Coors and some Rolling Rock and some Bud Select. But I heard the other gentleman. I haven't met him yet. I've heard. I love the icon, by the way. I usually drink like North Carolina beers, like Mystery Brewing, Full Steam, stuff like that.
So
sounds good.
did you hear what Red had to say about Duck Rabbit?
Duck Rabbit, especially. Yeah, right here.
There you go.
Yeah, I have not been out there. However, their beers are really well known around here. The quality of beer is real good. I'm not a beer reviewer very good. I just drink beer and hopefully don't fall down at the end of the night. But you know, so you know.
Well, I was telling Red that you respond to a lot of my videos, and that's
Oh
kind
yeah.
of how I know you.
Oh yeah. It's yeah. I've watched a lot of your videos. My like you. I've had a loss too recently. My father passed away in December. So I understand that this medium does help.
It kind of works as a virtual therapy, yeah. So, Red,
Gas money and charges and whatnot.
Red, did you have some questions for Mike?
Mike, where do you live in Eastern Carolina?
Well, I'm in the central part of the state. I'm over near UNC Chapel Hill.
Oh, okay, sure,
I'm
okay.
a big ECU fan though, and uh, you know, it's we're fixing to get clobbered here with a big winter storm come midnight. So I'm glad I've got internet now.
Oh, okay. Oh, I
So
saw that you're an ECU fan. I noticed that right away. My wife's father, my father-in-law is from Greenville, so we like ECU a lot too.
I like to hear that. Yeah, there's a place. Speaking of Eastern North Carolina, there was a brewery that just closed. The Beer Army. It was in Trenton, North Carolina.
Okay. Not familiar with that one. All right.
Yeah, it was run by veterans. And then there's another one called Aviator. I don't know if you guys have heard of that one.
Mm-hmm.
They
Yeah,
have
I've heard of Aviator, yeah.
Yeah, they have a real good one. I'll show you a bunch of cans. I'm kind of like Jay does. This one here, I don't know if you guys can go this way.
Yeah, Aviator. Very familiar with that
Yeah,
brewery.
their Tramping Ground Triple
Yep.
that'll knock you around pretty good. But I've got a whole bunch of stuff here if I can get my computer moving. But you can probably see it back here.
Yeah, you got a nice collection here, Mike. So what kind of beers do you like, Mike?
Well, I'm more I'm an IPA / porter kind of guy.
All right, well, that's kind of a mix, but okay.
I'm not an expert. I usually go. My dad and I used to go to the World Beer Festivals over in Durham, just east of here. So I like everything. I don't look down on anything. Some people's opinion are different. I respect that. So I'm not a beer snob. I'm just a beer enjoyer, as they say.
Yeah, that's what I like to say. I'm a beer enthusiast. Right now, I know Red's drinking that Macchiato Stout, and I'm doing a Schlafly. It's their extra stout. It's their version of an Irish dry stout.
Oh yeah.
So if you're going to join us at the pub, Mike, you got to pop yourself something.
All
Pop
right.
some kind of beer and tell us what you're drinking.
Well, I'm gonna.
And hopefully it's something good.
Guys.
Milwaukee's best, huh?
Yeah. Might as well.
So when you drink,
Mike, without being condescending, tell me why you drink a beer like that.
Because it was on sale.
Well, and there's an honest answer.
Yeah, that's about the size of it.
yeah, well, like I said, Mike, there's a time and a place for every beer, and a beer like that has its place. Now,
Yeah.
Tom and I have talked about this in the past too. I mean, there are people that drink beer that really don't give it a whole lot of thought. If they want something that's on sale, or they want something that's quick and easy to get, and if they just want to pour alcohol down their throat, then a beer like Beast Light or whatever you're drinking is appropriate in that situation. I don't have a problem with people drinking that type of beer. For myself, I don't drink beer like that anymore. I mean, I did maybe when I was a younger guy, and I was just looking to get drunk. Now, tell us, Mike, do you drink that beer for the flavors and the aromas, or are you drinking it just because you want to put alcohol in your body?
No, I mean, to be honest with you, when I had money coming in, I mean, I've got beer all over the place in here. I've got craft beers out the yin yang. But, ever since my father left and I lost my job and I'm helping my mother now through this time, I really can't afford craft beers. But when I do, I usually go up to Durham, which is, again, as I said, east of here, and I get like an IPA or a mixed six-pack of North Carolina local beers. So I usually do get craft beers, but only when the money allows to.
Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, we all have budgets, and we all have things that we have to do. And if you want to enjoy beer, you can go with the singles. And if you want to, continue to have something that you want to just not really think a whole lot about, and just if you want to just knock back, then there's nothing wrong with drinking that kind of stuff. But what Tom has made the point, and it's true. I mean, when you're drinking a beer like that, and you're drinking like what I'm drinking right now is a locally craft brewed stout, there are differences, and
Right.
some people like to say, well, there aren't any. I mean, the quality's the same, or it's just because it's different styles. I mean, Milwaukee's Best Light is what it is. It's something, it's a beer that people really aren't going to drink because they want to enjoy the flavors. They just really want to drink it because they want to get drunk, and that's fine. And as long as you tell me that's the reason you're drinking it, that's cool.
Well, it's not the light one. It's actually the ice version.
Okay.
Which is pretty good, I guess.
Mike, you drink whiskey at all, buddy?
What's that?
Are you a whiskey drinker at all?
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I actually am. Jameson is my.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm a full-blood Irish. I've watched your reviews on Jameson. Yep. I've been.
This is what I'm drinking right at the moment. It's the Bushmills 10.
Oh,
single malt Irish. But I do have a bottle of the Jameson Caskmates here. So if I knew you were going to join me, I'd have popped that one instead.
Well, funny story about that. My dad, back in 2008, my mom, my dad, and I went all over Ireland. We went to both distilleries in Ireland and to Bushmills.
Oh, so what do you think of my videos on those whiskeys? And you think I'm correct?
You're dead on. Dead on. You know, this is my first video chat. I've watched many of them. I've always been kind of shy in joining these things because everybody's got these elaborate opinions on how you smell them and what they taste and all that.
Well, not here, Mike. You see, you're walking into the virtual pub. It's just like.
I think we lost Red there.
Red, did we lose you?
He went off there if he was talking.
Yeah, I don't have muted.
You still hear me, can't you?
Yeah. Hey, Red, you there with us?
The internet must have gone down.
Well, I don't know what the hell's going on.
I know. I have speakers plugged into my computer, some Logitech, so when I unplugged it, the microphone started working. Darndest thing.
For some reason, I can't hear Red now.
No, I'm back, Tom.
Red, are you back? Okay.
Yeah.
We lost you for a second there, man.
Yeah, it froze up for a minute, but I was telling Mike that, yeah, he doesn't have anything to worry about. This is like walking into the pub. Just sit there and just order a beer and just have a talk.
Yeah, that's what we're doing here, Mike. We're just having a discussion, and it could take any turn. We talk about, you know, hell, anything you talk about in the pub. But now, just relax, have a beer, and enjoy, man.
Well, I plan to. Thank you. But have you heard of Double Barley Brewing down in Fuquay?
Red, you familiar with them?
I think we lost him again. I see him. Well,
It's not a brewery I'm familiar with, Mike. I'm not familiar with them at all. So
the Gourd Rocker. It's pretty good. I think we're having more technical difficulties here.
I think we must be. I know storms are in everybody's neck of the woods, so I don't know what's going on, but
yeah, hopefully it'll come. It may be just an IP thing. I don't know, or an internet thing. I don't know.
We lost him for a second, and he was back.
He'll come. I'm sure he's trying to work on it. I'm sure. I think I hear.
What did I miss, Tom?
Oh, there he is.
Oh yeah, we wonder what happened here.
Oh, I'm having connection problems. I just dropped out again. What did I miss?
We were talking about Double Barley Brewing down in Fuquay in my area. Just some new craft beers that are coming onto the market.
Yeah, North Carolina has really, really become a destination for beer. Have you been over to the western part of the state, Mike? Asheville is just a beer heaven.
Yeah, I've been to the French Broad Brewing, the ESB. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, cool. I've been to that brewery myself.
Oh, good. Well, I've been to nearly every brewery in the state. Me and my dad.
What'd you think of Wicked Weed in Asheville?
They're pretty good. I don't remember much about them. Again, I've been to so many, so you have to refresh my memory.
Well, Wicked Weed is one in Asheville, and they're really known for their barrel program. They have a lot of sours that they do. It's a very interesting place. When you go in there, the top part of the brewery is like a restaurant brew pub deal. But when you go down into the basement cellar, that's where all the barrels are, and you can go to the bar there and you can sample all their barrel aged stuff. Really, really, really impressive brew pub brewery.
I remember, yeah. But I had a question. Maybe you guys can answer it. Can you all ship beer around the country? I was wondering about that.
Well, technically, no, Mike. From a legal standpoint, no, but it can be done in kind of a don't ask and don't tell.
Oh, okay. Because I've seen people getting beer mail, so I was wondering about that.
Yeah, no, it's illegal actually. Federal law prohibits the shipment of alcohol. I think what they're trying to do though is to amend the law because the post office sees all this revenue that they could probably potentially gain. So I think it's stupid that they don't.
Yeah,
I think in some circumstances where they set it up where wineries do and certain breweries could ship direct. But you got to understand the three-tier system in a lot of states. They have to go through distributors, and a lot of times they can't ship direct. So it's not when people do all these beer trades and all that's illegal activity. No one should be shipping beer through the mail, through the U.S. Postal Service or UPS or FedEx. But it happens, so it is what it is. You take your chances. If you get caught doing it, you could probably get the stuff confiscated or you get fined. But it's a very, very, very common practice. I mean, it's like speeding. There's a sign that says don't go over 55, but people do. So.
Well, the speed limits are a suggestion.
Yeah, I agree, Mike. Speed limits are a suggestion. I grew up in California, so yeah.
Oh.
Speed limits are merely a suggestion. And a yellow light means you can get 4 folks through that thing.
I've given my mom a few gray hairs driving. She'll hold the imaginary brake pedal. But
So, Red, are you still working on that Macchiato Stout?
I'm sorry. Repeat that, Tom. You faded out there.
Are you still working on the Macchiato?
Yes, I am actually. It's very, very flavorful. Again, it's like drinking a coffee. So it's like tons of flavor. So I'm kind of like sipping this one.
So as it's warm there for you, have you noticed any additional flavors, aromas, or different flavors and aromas that popped up?
Really, more of the roast and more of the coffee is really coming through. This has got a lot of coffee in it, and which I like because I'm a huge, huge coffee drinker. I love coffee, so coffee is great. So this is if you like coffee, you would love this beer.
Yeah, when we were in Ireland, speaking of coffee, we put a little Jameson in our coffee in the morning.
Oh, I do that every morning, Mike.
There ain't nothing wrong with that, my friends. I've done a good handful of Irish coffee videos myself.
Yeah. I'm looking to start. I haven't put any videos on my channel basically because, again, like I said, I'm not really a social media type of person. I'll sit there and watch a video or whatever, but I guess this is my first time on the beer drinking community, I guess.
Well, we appreciate being your first, Mike. Brad and I popped your cherry.
That was a good one.
Hey, Red, do we want to take credit for that?
Is he still there?
No, that's good. I'm glad you're here, Mike. Y'all
are good guys. I mean, I've been watching y'all for years.
Well, not me. Tom is the guy. I just recently been contributing to Tom, but I'm not really a social media type myself. I really didn't get into it until a couple of years ago. I like when I was younger, of course, spent a lot of time out in actual bars, but since I've gotten older and got a wife and children and stuff, I don't get out so much anymore. But it's nice to socialize. It's nice to have a drink. So again, this wouldn't replace going out to a real place, but hey, it's for what it is, it's good, and I'm glad Tom has come up with this format, and he's done a good job with it.
We're all three here, and we're not quite drink. I guess we're alone in our own spaces, but we're all three having a conversation, so we're not alone.
No, this is where I spend most of my time here in my little man cave here, so to speak.
What are all those tapes you got up on the wall? They look like, what are those?
Over here?
Is that your music, Mike, or what is that?
Up here?
Yes.
Oh, those are CDs. Yeah, I've got CDs, I've got DVDs, I've got everything.
So what kind of music are you into?
Of choice, Mike?
Bluegrass, country, 80s metal, blues.
Nice.
I don't know if you guys are into Kiss at all.
Well, I've had my run-in with them, yeah.
I love Kiss. Yeah, I like a lot of their older stuff.
I grew up in the 70s and 80s, so yeah.
If you guys like, I can show you something special that I acquired from Kiss themselves.
Yeah, go ahead and show us, Mike. That's what the video's for.
Oh, crap. Where did I put it? Ow. This thing's huge. Oh. Oh, shoot.
Let's hope he's talking about the thing and not the thing.
It's huge. Here she is.
Oh, that looks like what?
Oh, no shit.
Gene Simmons bass?
Yeah, signed.
That's awesome. How did you acquire that, Mike? Tell us.
Well, it's a long story. eBay.
Well, give us the Reader's Digest version, yeah.
It's, well, basically, I went to my mother, took me to a Kiss concert. I mean, I don't mean to deviate from the beer, but went to a Kiss concert in '97 and came home and I bought that for $680 off eBay, which would normally cost me $5,000.
Wow.
So,
That's really, you think about it,
the,
a bass guitar signed by Gene Simmons,
yeah.
$650. I think you got a deal.
Well, yeah, I don't play it, though. It's been under my bed for the past 10 years.
Oh, goodness gracious. Well, hey, guys, I think we need to end this session. I just finished my Schlafly Extra Stout. Any parting words for your Macchiato Stout Red?
All right, Tom.
Okay.
Yeah, I gotta skedaddle, so I'll talk to you guys later, all right?
Any parting words for your Stout Red?
No, not really, other than the fact that if you're ever in this area and you want to go to this brewery, it's called Old Busthead Brewing Company, and it's a fantastic local brewery. I don't think they distribute outside the Commonwealth of Virginia at the moment, but they do very, very good beers.
Awesome.
Hey, Mike, thanks for joining us. Do you have any parting words?
Well, just I guess not really. I just want to thank you guys for your hospitality and kind words, and I guess we'll meet sometime soon again.
Well, thanks, Red. Thanks, Mike. And we'll end this session at the Beer Whisperer Pub. We'll be back again.